Okay, morning everybody. We are back on Tuesday morning for one of our final sessions of Revenue Ready. As you know, we'd put these sessions out over lockdown in an effort to give back to the hospitality industry, to kind of mentor people through this awful time. And I know that a lot of you join us very regularly. But we're so delighted to have Craig with us today. And I guess, I was just saying to Craig, he's only the second person that we've invited back twice because we had such amazing feedback. After Craig's first session, we thought this session about Book Direct was a really, really important one for you guys opening. So delighted to have you here. Craig with us. I'm just going to give you your lovely introduction. I have written it down so I don't miss anything. But Craig is founder of the performance marketing agency Big Flavour, located in beautiful Scotland in Edinburgh. And Craig has spent 13 years honing his marketing skills within the hospitality industry and working with some of the best known hotels across the UK and EMEA. These are Craig's words, but I'm going to mirror them. A geek at heart, fellow geek. Craig is looking forward to a cold beer once the beer gardens open again in Scotland. And I have to say, Craig, I might come over and join you for that one. We've got a lot of content to go through today. I am purposely not going to butt in and ask you questions from me, Craig, because I know after having seen your content, there's a lot there, which is amazing. And I think hotels will really benefit from it. But if people have questions, as usual, we want this to be really informal. Please put your questions in the chat room. I will keep an eye on those, Craig, for you and just sort of ask you every now and again. And I just want to say, I think Ricky is online, but if any of the team from the Edinburgh Collection are here as well, Ricky, who owns the Edinburgh Collection, very kindly gave Craig and I permission to use one of his hotels as a case study. So thank you very much for that, Ricky. Craig and I really enjoyed, Craig did the work working on that. So thank you very much for that. But Craig, I'm just going to let you kick off and I'm going to stop talking.
Cool. Thanks very much, Adrian. And I think I can echo everyone in the call to say that the webinar series that you put on has been a massive help, during lockdown, and we've had lots of excellent speakers, and it's a privilege to be back here for a second time just to catch up with everyone.
Thank you.
In terms of the today, we're going to speak about how to maximize bookings on your website. So it's going to be about not just direct bookings, but how to increase room bookings, increase F&B and wedding bookings, whatever's relevant to your business. And really, there's three kind of main channels that we look at when we look at ways to grow your revenue. One's a direct channel, and that's really your website, your emails, so newsletters that go out in your social media, and that's customers that you already own, you already communicate with on an ongoing basis. Then the next one is ad channels. So ad channels is really Google, Facebook, Bing, anywhere you can run adverts to then reach a relevant audience. And finally, is third parties. A lot of people think it's a kind of dirty word, but they're required in the industry. It's really just a quick kind of look at OTAs and deal websites. And I guess the big thing about this is to try and understand your channels and when you should use each channel. So that's what the day is about, really looking at all the different channels, how you can maximize your direct channel, and when you can use all of the channels at your disposal. So the first one we're going to start at is the website. So this is a typical website structure. So you can see here, this is a navigation of the website. If you looked at it through the menu, then you can see you've got the home page and you've got all the different pages, sections that are relevant to your business. Now, this is typical of what we can see, this amount of pages, this volume of pages for when we start working with a client. And the website is the beating heart of your marketing. It's the first place you need to start. So a lot of time people will put a social post up, but we always say, put the information on your website. It could be a blog post, could be an offer, but put that on your website because that's the main place where you're going to reach the benefit. But what we want to try and do is we want to try and grow that website structure for a number of reasons, but mostly to try and increase the traffic to your website and increase your bookings for each area of your business. So just to kind of go through the search landscape, this is an example of a PPC ad. So this is luxury castle hotels in Scotland. You can see the two ads that are appearing. So they're paid ads. The next part is the search local. So this is the kind of maps feature in Google. Bing's got the same. And you can also see that meta search is in there for the rates. And the last part there is organic search. So that's the free stuff. So when we talk about expanding the content on the website, we're looking at increasing organic reach, organic traffic. So this is where we want to start appearing for a lot of different searches. So we have a look at that. And the kind of key point about this is that 40% of your website traffic is from search, which is a massive part of your traffic. So a lot of your focus should go on this. And about half your revenue comes from search. So it's a huge area. And these are the three sections that you need to be there. You need to be included in these sections to then get that 50% of revenue or that 40% of traffic. The first kind of protocol that we look at is the keyword research. So we try and understand your business, deep dive into your business, have a think about all the relevant areas of your business. And then this is an example using the Google keyword tool. And you can see here you've got search terms on the left in each box, and you've got the monthly searches on the right-hand side. So this is an example, again, following on from a kind of castle hotel in the Scottish Highlands, but you can look at all the different elements that are relevant to your business. For this one, it's near Inverness. It's on the North Coast 500, which is a massive route now for Scotland. It's a romantic hotel. It's on the Black Isle. So you can start to look at all the different locations for your business, look at all the different attractions around about your business, and then start looking at them. What are people searching for? But not only do this for rooms, but do this for your F&B, do it for your weddings, exclusive use, any kind of events, corporate events, meeting rooms, and start to build a picture up of what people are searching for. The next part is looking at your revenue by business area. So this is an example just kind of made up, which shows you that room revenue is 40%. The events, which include weddings, are a huge chunk. So when you look at the website content, it should reflect what revenue you're getting in through the business just now. So you know if rooms are 40% of your revenue, then that should be roughly 40% of the content on the website, 40% of the content that goes out in your blog and social media. But an important part of this is to say that things like gift vouchers, which are massively undersold in our opinion, you can see they're gift vouchers, which usually occupy a kind of low percentage of the overall revenue. If it was our intention to build them up, then we'd be looking to add more content around about that. But that's a huge area to try and build up anyway. And gift vouchers, you know, I think it's something like 40% are never used. So it's pure profit. So it's a huge area of opportunity within your hotel.
I think that's really important. Craig, just if I go back to my days of doing consultancy, I would have found that people, hotel owners and managers or management companies would have wanted their website to look and feel like a certain, you know, and put all this information out there. Then you would have got the website designer who just wanted to win awards and have pretty pictures and all of that. I think this exercise that you're doing there of actually starting with the customer in mind and looking at what the customer is actually searching for and then building the site structure around that is really important, and looking at what you've just said there, what you want to increase and what you're doing well, and gaps in the business. So I think that's a really, really good structure, even just starting to go back, look at those search terms and look at how people are finding you, what they're actually looking for. So I think it's a really good thing to do. Yeah, no, that's a good point actually. And it's something we always say to our clients, that it's not about you. It's not about you, it's about the customer. So it doesn't matter about the history of the hotel or, you know, what you think is important to that hotel. It's what that customer is looking for in the experience. And that's what, as we move on through the presentation, you come to the website and it's more image led and video led, and it is more about that experience, especially in a staycation market that we're in now. So it's really important to put that customer first. The kind of last part we look at is what other websites are saying about you. So you can see this is about property amenities. So free parking. Parking's a massive search term, especially in the cities. So if you've got free parking, then you would create a separate page for the parking side. You can see there for fishing and board games and stuff as well. And then
really what other people say about you on TripAdvisor. What people that have stayed at your property, what do they say about you? What kind of content are they bringing up? Do you have that content on your website? For this property here, it mentions whiskey quite a bit. So do you have a whiskey section on your website? Do you have blog posts about the best whiskies and the difference between the whiskies? So it's stuff like that then could engage with someone across social media and eventually lead to a sale at a later date. So we take all this information and we put it into a new structure, and this is from the original one. This is what we come up with, and you can see that it's very overwhelming. It's a lot of information here. So I've got a couple of a next slide to take you through, but it's really looking at what people are looking for on your website, what they're searching for in Google, and then what you need to sell across the business. That's the three things that you need to think about when you expand your content. But you can see this is a massive infrastructure now of content. It doesn't have to be done all at the same time when you're building your website or expanding your website. You can create section by section. You can add 2 extra pages a month, done in an efficient way that's prioritized, so it's the most important for your business. This is a kind of example to break it down for food and beverage. This is it's typically what we'd see, a kind of eat and drink section of the website, and then a page for restaurant and a page for drink or the bar. And that's what we would do with it. So for a restaurant, you'd break it up, you'd have your breakfast, your brunch, lunch, afternoon teas. So that, again, that's based on the keyword research. It's based on what you're offering. But things like the children's menu or a gluten-free menu could be the difference between you getting that booking and your competitor getting the booking. So having that on the site will enable your customer to find the information that they need. But it also, if someone types in afternoon tea in Belfast or afternoon tea in London, then you're going to start appearing in Google. You can run ads if you've got that page. It's a really relevant landing page. So it's about the customer, but it's also about trying to drive new customers through your business. And here's the important side, that if you do all of this and you can expand your content, this is what you can expect to see across your business. So the event inquiries go up massively, the double in most cases, so about 80% average. F&B bookings up 20%, and website visits up 25%. So what this means is if you look at your revenue coming through your website just now, that's also going to go up at about 20%. So just by doing this over 6 months, you'll add all that extra onto your business for every single business area that you expand.
Yeah, it's a great tip, Craig, because the more people we can get in the top of that funnel, obviously the more people then we're getting out the bottom, the more opportunities then we have to make reservations and make profits. So those stats are staggering, absolutely staggering. Yeah,
and it's just, I think it's just about, thinking about your business and noting everything down, and then once you just do it in a kind of a bit of paper or on a spreadsheet, and once you've got that in that spreadsheet, then you can start to think about, right, what content do I need for each page, what imagery do I need for each page, and then you can start putting that together, and it builds up slowly over time. But then you become an authority, you become a place to go. Google knows that your site's the go-to site for information on your location, on what you provide. So then you start to rank and you start to increase your business. So the next part really is, once you've got your content, I'm going to have a quick look at website design, and I'm going to look at mobile and desktop, and it's really just to say what we're seeing as best practice across industry just now. So for website or mobile, here's 2 examples of mobile sites, and both sites are nice, good properties. And one of the main things is that about 60% of your traffic is going to come from mobile now, and that's just going to keep going up and up and up. So your site should be designed kind of mobile first. The burger menu, so you can see at the navigation at the top left of the first one, the top right of the Grove, and that's called the burger menu. You click on that to expand the navigation and get to the pages. So that's kind of best practice. That's what people expect to see on a mobile device. You need clear call to actions. You can see here that the book direct and the offers buttons are right at the bottom, so they're sticky. So as you can scroll down the site, those buttons stay there, and it's the same for both sites. And the other one, the Grove's doing gift vouchers and room bookings. One of the big bits of advice is don't overcomplicate your site. You don't need a map that you can zoom in and it's interactive. it's on a mobile device. People need to get to that information as quickly as they can. So don't have the site logical. So if we look through that sitemap of a website, so it was rooms, F&B, whatever it might be, your website should follow the same kind of structure, and it should all be kind of simple and easy to navigate on mobile. It is all image led, it's video led. You can see all the kind of top sites, then they're kind of using that, and these two are a good example. And I think you can see the example between the two of these. The one on the left, a Links House in Dornoch, which is a lovely property. That's using the big image. It's hardly any text. There's nothing else on the site. It's really selling the location. Whereas the Grove on the right hand side is a bit more going on. So in the mobile, we would prefer just to have it kind of less is more. Just focus on your kind of main selling points and go from there. And text, keep text to a minimum. People don't want to read pages and pages of text. It should all be images and video content. For the desktop, I'm going to go into these live sites and show the two sites in a second, but it is all kind of, desktop's an area where you can expand a little bit and be more kind of intricate and have different designs. There's more space to play with. And if you look at this site here, this is the Torridon in Scotland. It's a really nice design. It's video. Hopefully you can see that okay. It might be a bit sticky due to the speed, but it's got a really nice video at the top that kind of summarizes the website. It's got a nice message at the top. But as you scroll down the site, then it is all image led. Like I said about having less text. It's an image for the rooms. It just goes from image to image, but it really sells the property and sells the experience that you get there. And the other one is for Bankery Lodge. They've done the same kind of thing. So they've got the kind of hero video at the top. And you can see here, again, it's a summary of the whole experience you get. It goes from the external to the river, the inside, the bar, the food, the chef cutting steak outside. And it's really powerful for someone landed on that site. So someone who doesn't know your property, who isn't a loyal customer, this type of thing is really powerful. And they've made good use of different gifts and stuff as you go down the site. So you can see as you get to each section, then they've made use of gifts to bring a bit of kind of movement to the site and a bit of colour.
Craig, can I just ask, we've got a question here from Deirdre just saying, does putting a lot of video on your site actually affect the speed normally? I know that maybe it's a wee bit jittery because we're on a webinar, but for a normal person logging into your website, are they going to be slowed down because of the video?
Yeah, that's a very good question actually, and I think that the video should be kept to a minimum, so use the video sparingly, but I think don't use massive amounts of video. You can optimize the video so it's like a quicker loading time, and I think on desktop generally people have got a lot of kind of Wi-Fi power, so they can go and view that. I think on mobile, a lot of the time for us, for clients, and we would have the video on desktop, but when you go to a mobile device, it's a static image. So then the load time on a mobile device is a lot quicker.
Just one other question, it's quite a good one actually. Nicholas has asked, when you're putting these lovely messages on here, because you can see that the two places that you've shown there are really aspirational. Like I want to go to both of those places, they're beautiful. But on the messaging, should you go for the hard or the subtle selling with those unique selling points?
I think the subtle selling's the one that we would advise. I think that depending on your property, these are experience-based properties. If you've got a property in the heart of London and it's corporate, then it's a different message then. But I think these companies have paid money for, and this is actually a really good point, because you've got different types of companies, and these hotels have paid a brand company to come in and work on their brand. So that's something I advise for every hotel to do. Go away and find a brand company, understand your position in the marketplace, understand the type of messaging, the type of imagery, the fonts and the color schemes and stuff you're going to use in your website. And then all of this kind of ties into a really nice looking website. The Torridon and Bankery have both done that really well. And it's very much like the experience you get when you go there. It's not kind of pushy, it's luxury, it's experience led. For Bankery Lodge, it's kind of quirky. So the websites echo that experience. So I think it's really based on what type of property you have, but we would always kind of edge away from the kind of more salesy messaging and have it more kind of aspirational.
Yeah, no, it's fabulous.
So yeah, video or kind of image is the hero. So the hero is the main area when you come onto the website. So always a video or an image there, because that's that as soon as you land there, that's your kind of a place to impress them. More space to be creative, as I said. So you can do different things on desktop. You can have different layouts. On mobile, it converts to kind of image, text, and that's how people see it, regardless of the design on desktop. But on desktop, it's more flexible. So if you've got a kind of cool brand, a quirky brand, then that's the place to do it. For social media, I pull in some feeds. So you've got some live imagery on the website. We do it for a lot of our clients on the homepage. So near the bottom of the homepage, we pull in an Instagram feed. You just need to watch that you're putting the right images on Instagram, because they're getting pulled into your website. So you need to think about your brand. So you can even use things like a hashtag to pull in certain images. And lots of calls to action. So a call to action would be, like you can see here, the book now button in the kind of purple color. Calls to action should be after any kind of statement on your website. So if you look at the homepage, you've got the intro, you've got the rooms. After the rooms, it should be book direct. After the F&B, it should be book a table. There should be a call to action all over your site. And it's just making it easy for that customer to then go in and make a booking or go and convert.
Yeah, revenue generator first, information giver second.
75% of your revenue is desktop. So, and it's even higher for some properties, depending on the demographic of your hotel. But that means that people are looking on mobile. So mobile is more kind of aspirational. Mobile is the place they go to look for information. That's why it needs to be easy to find. And then they go and convert on desktop after that. And that was on the last time that I spoke, I said about the average kind of touch points for a sale is 28. So people will come back and forth to your site, go to TripAdvisor. So they'll go to 28 different sites and come back to your site maybe 4 or 5 times. It might be in mobile when they're coming home from work. And then once they get home to their husband or wife, then they're on the laptop and they're sitting. That's when they'll make the conversion. So that's when all your call to action should be there and any kind of book direct incentives. That kind of leads me nicely onto the book direct incentive. So this is an example from a client we worked with in Amsterdam. So this is one of the most prestigious hotels in Amsterdam, 5-star. And you can see there that they've got 4, 5, 6 different book direct incentives. So I know some hotels have said in the past it cheapens the brand, but for this client, it worked really well. And it took their ROI for their PPC campaigns from 5 to 1 to over 20 to 1. So you're offering a book direct incentive to try and get that booking direct, but it can also increase your incremental bookings, because you might be the same rate as a competitor hotel, then someone comes on your site and you're offering different book direct incentives, so later checkout, that type of thing. So someone picks your hotel over a rival just because of those incentives. Our tips for this is really add as many as you can. Late checkout or later checkout is an easy one. It doesn't need to be 2 o'clock. It can be 12 o'clock. It can just be an hour difference, but that made that person feel special. Make them a loyal customer by bringing them into book direct. Position it right at the top of the website. When people come back to book direct, the first thing they want to do is go and book. So make sure the incentives are there, nice and clear. Any kind of room page, you should have the book direct incentives on every room type, every kind of room overview page. Same for offers. If you get any offers or packages, have the book direct incentives there, and on the booking engine, have it right on the booking engine. We've got a good example in the next slide actually of that happening. The next thing is getting away from rooms. If you look at your F&B side of your weddings and events, then inquiry forms are a massive way to increase the conversion rate. So these two are from the hotel that we looked at earlier, Banquet Lodge. This is a request a brochure. This is for their wedding or request a show round. So by adding more pages to the wedding section, we've doubled the inquiries coming in for their weddings. And it's simply just a page with a request a show round. What we've seen working well in the past is that if you give an incentive for the show round for weddings, once someone's at the venue, then we've seen the conversion rate go up by 20% to actually booking the wedding. So things like a free night, if it's a low season, afternoon tea, champagne for two, canopies, anything like that to get them to the show round, that kind of helps with the conversion rate. But essentially create a form for each inquiry type. So meeting, events, birthdays, celebrations, a separate form for each one. Have a separate thank you page just so you can track it properly. Don't ask for too much information. 2 or 3 fields is enough. But I know we want to try and qualify that person, but you can do that on the first call quite easily if you've got some good questions to start with. So 2 or 3 fields are plenty there. I guess one of the big things to bring to websites in the last couple of years has been a chat bot. It's huge, and if you've got a chat bot there and it's preloaded with lots of different questions, that can help qualify that lead before it comes in. And as I said, add an incentive. Whatever that incentive is, you can go and add that incentive. If it's a glass of Prosecco, whatever it might be, then just to kind of push them, because again, they might be considering 2 or 3 different venues that are offer the same thing, and this could be the connection that they make to go then and go and see your property. And as I said, it nearly doubles your inquiries if you add all these different call to actions and inquiry forms.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you, Craig. And back in my consultancy days before Right Revenue Software, as soon as we put those book direct incentive messages on websites, we saw a massive increase. But through years of doing this, one of the things that I found worked best was not, £10 off, 20 euro off, whatever it was. It was actually that complimentary upgrade subject to availability, or like you say, that free breakfast or late checkout. And actually some of the things that I've done in the past, we had a beautiful hotel say that if you book direct, you went one person every week was entered into a competition to stay in their suite. So they did it really cleverly. Like, they allowed someone who booked direct on a Sunday night or a Monday night to stay in their top suite, which was like £1,000 a night. And they got great PR out of that.
Yeah.
But one of the things that I find actually, when I booked a hotel, well, more than a year ago now, 2 years ago, was when I came to the website, I was looking for a hotel in Rome. And I saw 2 hotels in an area that I liked around my price point. And the one that I chose to book was one that was donating €1 for every book direct to a local charity. And they had a little counter on their website to show this is how much we've raised this year. And I thought, I want to stay in a hotel that has an ethical conscience. And that drove me to their website. I actually paid a little bit more than I would have done in the other hotel, but I was very pleased to make that booking because I felt that they were giving back to their local community. So I think those simple things, without giving away, really any revenue, are the great ideas for hotels to take on board. Yeah,
no, that's a fantastic one, and I think sustainability and that looking at that type of thing now is massive. So anything you can do about that. I know that a lot of hotels are, put signs up in the bathrooms and stuff about towels and reusing, and anything like that can kind of help. So that's a great one. So, and this is an example actually from the Savoy, and they've done a really good job here, and it's looking at creating urgency and trust within the website. So the first thing that I seen when I went on the website was the flexibility, the cancellation policy, which is great. No deposit, flexible cancellation. They've then got adding the trust in there for the top 6% of hotels. As I said, when you go to the booking engine, when you go to check availability, then it's got the book direct incentives right there. So it's nice and clear. And then lastly was, I kind of can't decide if you go to try and leave the site, then it says, look, we know you're not going to book just now, that's fine. But, try and be a loyal customer and you'll get access to exclusive offers and early checkout and stuff. So a really good way of doing it, a really good way of capturing the customer and being there and kind of adding and assigning that trust that as the person goes through the website. The booking engine is a massive thing, and typically what will happen is you go from the booking engine, from the hotel website to the booking engine site. So you need to make sure the booking engine is in the same kind of brand, the same design, color scheme, fonts, color palettes. You can see here, this is an example for the Grove that we looked at earlier. It is quite similar. I know the navigation changes side, but it's the same fonts. They've used the same color scheme. They've got the logo up there, so it's a nice transition for the user. We would always say to order rates by the cheapest rate. Although I did see on the Grove that they were doing it differently, so they're going with the suite first, which is one of the more expensive ones. So depending on what you need, then you can change that. But what we've seen for a lot of hotels, especially big hotels in London, is that if they're not ordered by the cheapest, they lose out in direct bookings. So it's just something to look at and something to test. Obviously, if all your cheaper rooms are going, or you've got a strategy to sell the more expensive rooms, then you can order it by them. Room images, a massive thing. Again, if you're updating the website, update the booking engine. You know, the amount of times that I went through that booking engine, it's been old pictures or it's the same image for every room type, that type of thing. So make sure you spend the time, because that's the final moment before that person books. So make sure you go and find that time to change the images and give them the final push. A login is always a kind of sticking point. We had one client a couple of years ago that had a login process. You had to log in, you had to create an account, and it was a bottleneck for bookings. As soon as I took it off, then the bookings started coming in. So make it as easy as possible. I love things like Apple Pay now. I probably spend too much money on stuff too easily, but it's nice and easy. Make it as easy as possible. One of the biggest things I think is to be able to deep link into certain offers. So if you've got a package that's a dinner, bed and breakfast or a romantic package, then you've got a page on your site that's a romantic hotel offer. You click on that, you go through to the booking engine, and then you need to then go and search for it. So you're making the customer already find that information on your site and then find it again on the booking engine. So having the ability to deep link into these offers, so when they go through a certain offer or a link somewhere, whether it's on social media or a newsletter, don't make them go and do the work again. I know that Synixis offer that, and so the other booking engines. So it's worth just checking with your provider. And again, display those book direct benefits. There's a really good example here. This is Gleneagles. They've just recently built a new website, but the booking engine is excellent, I think. And if you look in the right-hand side, it says more than just a room. So again, it's getting away from that kind of devaluing the brand, this luxury brand, and it's telling you about the experience. So we're not going to give you money off, but here's all the extra stuff that you can get. I love the free adventures and stuff, and the world-class breakfast, and all of this kind of goes together to try and convince people and add that trust, because you're paying a lot of money for this room. So make sure that they're getting everything they can. And I think the other thing is that the rates, you can see there from May, it says they've got different rates. So it's kind of like Skyscanner. And if people want to go and pick, if Gleneagles might not apply to this, but if you've got a property that your customer is price sensitive, if they can then look on a monthly basis and see the rates for every day, that might then allow them to book another day if they maybe couldn't afford to book one of the busier times.
That's a great, I love that website. I must go and actually have a look at it. And just Paul is making me laugh here. He's just said, commenting on something you said earlier. He said one of his competitors has launched a make an account to complete your booking on their booking engine. So he's thrilled. And he's going to take that competitor out. Well done, Paul.
Yeah, that's great. It's crazy. It happens all the time, though, so it's quite a common thing. But no, well done, Paul. That's you getting more bookings. The last thing is make sure everything's tracked through Google Analytics. There's no point in setting up campaigns, expanding your content, doing social media, employing someone to do all of this work, and then at the end of the month you say, right, what happened? You need to know what channels are sending the bookings, what campaigns worked, what parts of the site did you change and add a call to action, how did that influence it? You can only really evaluate that once you add Google Analytics tracking. Newsletters are a big talking point within Big Flavour. It's I think we checked it last time. I think newsletters are about 2-3% of the overall revenue, but they do play an important role in communicating with your loyal customer base. We typically create 2 templates. One template is a traditional newsletter that maybe has 4 or 5 different areas of information, and the other one is an offer template. So that one there's an offer template, so it's just a hero image and then one offer. So that could be a really, a Black Friday offer or something you're trying to push out. Maybe you've got a low occupancy for certain dates and you're trying to push an amazing offer out to your database. You would use that. And then the one on the right hand side is the kind of larger one. So it's got 4 or 5 different areas of information, and that's something that you might put out in a quarterly basis or maybe a more regular. But I think once a month for a smaller newsletter is enough. Unless you've got an amazing offer to share with your database, they don't want to hear from you all the time. They want to get updates. And for this client here, they created a really, really cool outside area. You can see in the picture, the illustration. People want to know about that. It's a really cool place to sit. It's a talking point. But if you're just pushing out kind of information that is the same on your website, then why would that person read the newsletter? Again, make sure it's tracked in Google Analytics, and think about sharing unique offers. One of the best ways to do this is that if you create a landing page on your website, so if you take an offer page, create an offer page, but hide it on the website. So don't make it accessible from Google or anybody else. And then you can put that out to your database and you can get 15% off. So it's a way to make them feel special. It's a way for them to look forward to that newsletter coming in, because they know they're getting something that nobody else is getting. It's only people in the newsletter. And just make sure you don't share that with them and then share it with the wider public, because that's game's a bogey if that happens, because you've just kind of you made them feel special and then taken it away straight away. And then lastly is that your newsletter database, one way that you can target that is you can put it into a Facebook or you can put it into Google. And so if your database is maybe UK wide, for instance, or even further afield, and it might not be segmented properly in your newsletter system, but you can put that into Facebook. And if that matches their Facebook email address, then you can target them. So if you only wanted to target London or Scotland or Belfast or wherever, you can just target them. And it would only target the ones from that location in your database. So it's another way to push offers to your database, but a less intrusive manner.
That you learn something new every day. I did not know you could do that, Craig. Every day skill day. Yeah, it's a really cool feature, and it works really well. And as I said, it's a newsletter's quite, yourself, the amount of emails that you get in a day. Then I don't know how much time you spend deleting emails in a day, but it must be quite a bit. So a Facebook ad is just another way of connecting with them and giving them information. You can still make it exclusive to them and make it clear that it's exclusive in the ad. So it's a really cool way of doing that. Social media. We use Canva for designing social media posts, which is really cool. Here's an example of one of our clients in Edinburgh. We've done this for, and this was just for a Facebook post. The rule is 80% non-sales. So people don't want to see offers, or people definitely don't want to see positions of a chef coming up or something like that. So 80% that should be experience, aspirational content, the experience that they get when they're there, maybe the view from a certain room, something that they can connect with and say, oh, we were there last year, remember, let's go and book again. Don't overdo it. 3 or 4 posts per channel is enough. So we use different tools. There's a tool called Sendable that you can use, and you can schedule posts. So you can schedule posts across Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, whatever you want to, but you can go into the tool and change them per channel so they're more relevant. Obviously, Instagram is more image led. Facebook gives you a little bit more text, but 3 or 4 times a week's plenty. People don't really want to hear every single day. So don't overdo it, and make sure when you see that post, it's something that they want to see. And is Sendable free, Craig, or is it a paid? Sendable is a paid tool. It starts off about £100 a month and goes up from there. But the good thing about Sendable is that it's got an approval process. So typically we would advise someone at the hotel doing the social posts. So someone internal that knows the business
but maybe typically that might be someone younger in the business. So then if they want to run that past the manager for approval before each post goes out, they can do that through Sendable. So they can create all the posts, and then the person who has to approve them just gets an email, and they just tick all the ones that are fine, and they can leave comments on the ones that if they need to change anything. So it's a really cool way of doing that and managing your brand online.
£100 a month for sending out schedule posts. I need to put the price of our revenue management software up, Craig. Thank you for that. Sorry.
Social's the same as newsletters, so share exclusive offers with them. That's your audience, that's your loyal core. So that's the first point you would go newsletter, go social before you go out to ad campaigns or anything else. And that's just a quote from Walt Disney. Really, again, it's if the more interesting content you put out, the more the good offers you put out, then the more they're willing to share that with their friends, and then you can grow your audience together. Cool. So that's the kind of end of the part for website and some of the channels. We're going to move on to ads now. And really the kind of main point of this was to try and drive direct bookings. So we're looking at why do we bother fighting OTAs? And it's something that I've had in the past. A hotel said, you know, I don't need a website. I get my bookings through booking.com 15%. So we get that all the time. It is 15% plus. It's going up to 18% for the placements, and they've got different mobile offers and stuff coming out now, and they're asking you to reduce your rate. So there's a whole range of different things that are going on there. 15% is a lot of money to pay for a booking. They own your customer. It's not you who owns your customers. They own your customer, and you potentially lose out on an upsell opportunity. If you're going through your website and you can cross-sell all your different experiences rather than just a room on booking.com or another place, then you're missing out on a potential upsell. OTAs will cross-sell different clients at the bottom of your listing. So potentially you could do all the work through an ad campaign. They could go to your website, then they go and check the rate on booking.com, and then they get to the bottom of your listing and it's got your competitor there with a cheaper rate. So that's another reason just to kind of watch out for that. And your marketing budget goes to booking.com. They've got the biggest spend of anyone online for Google. It's a massive spend. And you're paying money to them instead of growing your bookings. So if you run the campaigns yourself, you're going to get those bookings for between 7 and 10%. So that extra 5 to 8%, you can put back into other campaigns to grow your bookings instead of just paying booking.com. And it's the big thing is about owning the customer. Own the customer so that when you come to sell, if you have a database with 20,000 people, if you've got Facebook with 10,000 people, if you've got a website that averages 12,000 clicks a month, you have the ability to go and sell rooms when you need to. If your website's got 1,000 a month, your social's got 200, your newsletter's non-existent, you're relying on OTAs, you're giving your business to them, which means you're always going to be paying that percent. So Google Ads is the easiest way to try and move away from OTAs. And our advice is always create it with a separate Gmail account. The amount of time that we spend unraveling Gmails if someone has been in the business 10 years ago, is pretty crazy. So create a Gmail account, assign that to any kind of account for the hotel. That goes for social media as well. It just means that you've got access to that all the time. Google give out a free voucher, so it's £75 to £100 you get free if you spend over £100. So that can get you started and see how the results go. Do not let Google set this up. Google are there to make money. They will advise on things like optimization score in the account. They'll set up keywords that are kind of broader than you need just so that they can spend money. So do not let them set it up. And we would always advise using an agency. It seems a bit salesy coming from myself, but costs can spiral out of control. You can set the wrong kind of budget, you can set the wrong match type, and suddenly you've spent a lot of money on keywords that are not relevant for you. So always get an agency to set this up. Brand campaigns. So brand campaigns are what you would set up Google for. It's really showing an advert to anyone who searches your name in Google. You can see here for the example for Landmark Hotel, they've got the Radisson, which is a completely different brand bidding above them. They've got guest reservations, hotels.com. So they're nowhere on that page. On mobile, it's even further down because it's less screen space. So really important that you get there. And it's really to drive those direct bookings. So it's traffic and bookings coming through your site as opposed to going through booking.com. And as I said, it's 7 to 10% commission. This is a table that once you run ads, Google gives you this table it's an auction report. It basically says who's bidding against you. So for this client, you can see they're bidding 94% of the time, and Expedia's bidding 12% of the time, booking.com's 10. Typically, booking.com will be up about 40, 50%. But obviously this is we're not out of lockdown yet, so it's influencing this, but it's quite a good way to see who's competing against you. So for a revenue manager, if you're looking at your channels, then you can go and look at who's bidding against you, how are they getting rates, and then go and try and fix it at the source. Non-brand campaigns. So that's again in Google, but it's showing ads to people that are looking for a hotel like yours. So we've got an example here. So a romantic hotel in the Cotswolds. You can see 2 examples here from a mobile device. And you really run these to increase awareness of your hotel and generate bookings for your hotel. So if you want to increase bookings, this is the place to start. It should be the first place you start. So if you're thinking about you need to sell room bookings or PR, whatever else, this should be the first place you start. This is the most captive audience. These are people that are searching for exactly what you sell. So this should be the place that you start. And it's the same for rooms as it is for restaurant bookings or weddings. If someone's looking for that in Google, they're already down near the end of the buying cycle. So go and capture them. And that's the easiest way to bring revenue into your business.
What I love about it though, Craig, as well, is that everything is measurable. So you can try something and see if it's actually working for you and either increase it or pull back. And you can't do that with an ad in a Tatler magazine or a local newspaper, whatever. It's so hard to measure. Whereas you can see romantic hotel Cotswolds, how many times that's clicking, who's coming to your website, who's converting, at what price, what country, everything is there in front of you. So for me, all hotels should be spending money and have a decent budget for PPC. And I know, again, going back to consultancy days, when I used to sit in hotels and go, look how much revenue is coming through your own website. You've got a sales team going out and doing all these wonderful things, but 50% of your revenue or more is coming through your own website, but yet you're not giving that the attention that it deserves and the budget. You don't have eyes on that part of your business.
Yeah.
So I thank goodness that's not as bad as it used to be, but I think this is really critical for hotels, especially at this point in our lives.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the last month was for our clients, for most of our clients in outside the cities, it was a record month. So it's the biggest ever month.
Yeah.
And the reason for that is that everybody wants to book, but it's also the fact that they're running these types of campaigns. So they're connecting with people that are looking to book at the same time. And, as you say, it's measurable. So, why wouldn't you do it?
Yeah, no, I agree. Can I just jump in and ask you one quick question from Ethna? Ethna would like to know, how do you set up that Google auction report? Do you have any?
Auction is basically once you need to start running campaigns first. So once you start running campaigns, once you get enough data in those campaigns, then there's something called an auction insight report. And then once you go into that, then it'll tell you per campaign. So every campaign that you set up, so who's bidding against you for your hotel name, who's bidding against you for your key non-brand terms. So it'll give you all that information as soon as your account kind of kicks off and gets enough data.
Brilliant. I hope that helps, Ethna. Thanks, Craig.
Cool. PPC strategy here. So this is something that we put together for a client. So the brand one at the top is just people bidding on your hotel name. And then the second one, this is an example for a Scottish Highlands hotel, but you can see here on the left-hand side, the non-brand, where it says hotel location, NC 500 type, that's the campaign name. And then all the ad groups are the different segments of that. So You can see the hotel location. Anyone searching for hotels near Inverness, hotels Cromarty, the Scottish Highlands, Invergordon, then we're going to show adverts to them. They're a key hotel in the NC 500 route, so then we're going to show adverts for accommodation, for hotels, best hotels, and the same for type, for romantic, dog friendly. So this is it ties in with the content map that we looked at earlier, the website structure. And this means that once you build this for your business, and not just your rooms, but for your F&B, everything else for weddings, then you've got all these campaigns there. And when you need to turn the tap on, you can turn it on. You don't need to spend huge amounts. So you can spend £100 a month on weddings and get 5 leads in. So if your conversion rate's 185, then you're getting a wedding a month for £100. So that's the kind of best way to look at that. But this is a kind of typical structure and strategy put together for a client. So it's really based on what people are searching for and what's relevant to your business. That's the key points. And again, why wouldn't you want to show for these? It's exactly what your business is. This again should be the first place you start. And it's 50% missed clicks if you don't run these. So if you think about the clicks you're getting to your website just now through Google search, Google Maps, you can double that if you start running the ads. Social ads, so it's showing an ad on Facebook or Instagram, and it's really targeting a demographic. And this is to create awareness in your hotel or hotel products. It allows you more area to showcase your property. You can see from the image here, the video, this is one that we created for a client in Iona. So it's a lot more flexible, it's a lot more aspirational, it's experience-based, but the key point here is your audience isn't a captive one. So Google search, someone searching for a romantic hotel in the Cotswolds, they're looking for that at that moment. We are now targeting people who match your demographic but aren't looking for a hotel at that precise time. It still works, it's still worthwhile, but it's just a different audience. And lastly, for meta search, both Google and TripAdvisor are offering the commission-free models now, so we'd advise on setting those up. You don't pay until the guest stays, and so there's no cost in cancel bookings, which is really important just now. And again, that comes in at 7 to 15% commission. Third parties, just kind of briefly touching on OTAs. As I said, people are always going to book via OTAs. They're not the enemy, they're an integral part of your marketing. They're a large chunk for a lot of hotels, and it's a good place for you to ramp up bookings, but use them when you need to use them, and always exhaust all your direct channels first. So if you can see a period of low occupancy, have you sent a newsletter out? Have you done the social ads, the non-brand ads? Have you done the social posting? Don't let them own your brand. So if they own 90% of your online bookings, they own your brand, and they can turn that off and on, increase the cost whenever they like. Deal websites. So there's different deal websites such as Secret Escapes. You've got It Is On in Scotland, which is a big one that's came into Manchester and stuff now. And you've got Groupon. These are deal hunters. So people looking for dinner, bed and breakfast packages, and it's really to fill your hotel at mass. They're looking for large discounts, and we wouldn't advise using these unless you really need to. A few of the hotels I've worked with, in the north of Scotland, etc., they stay open in the winter and they use these deal websites to fill the rooms so they can keep their staff on. They don't need to go through the hiring process again, which makes sense. If you're going to use them, share the offer with a database. So if you've got 40% off your room, go and share that with your newsletter first, share it with your social media first, give it a couple of weeks, and then go out to these deal websites. And make sure they don't use PPC on your brand. Secret Escapes are probably the worst for doing that. They'll go in and they'll bid on your brand. So you give them 40% off, but not only they're supposed to bring incremental bookings, but they'll go and hijack your brand bookings at the same time. Cool, I think we've got about 5 minutes left. I'm just going to go through a quick example for Ricky who's on the call, using the Old Waverley example. Recently launched new websites, looking really good. And I'm aware, before I go through this, that we're still in lockdown in Scotland. So this is purely an example of what could happen when we get back. This is showing the brand search for the property. You can see in the kind of purple colour is the organic one, so it's quite a fair bit down. Booking.com are bidding, guest reservations are bidding, Expedia is bidding. So there's an opportunity there to show for the branded search and get bookings at 7%. So we would create the campaigns in Google and in Bing, and that would then cover any kind of searches for the hotel name. We'd also create meta search campaigns. You can see the meta search on the right hand side of the screenshot where it says booking.com £74. So we'd also advise getting in there with the two kind of Google and TripAdvisor commission products now. As I said, you only pay when you get cancelled bookings, which is quite good. In terms of content, we've just had a look at through the website, and this is an example of how you can expand the content. So this is the F&B page for the restaurant. You've got a sample lunch menu and a sample dinner menu, and they both go to an external PDF just now. So there's an opportunity to expand that content. You can create a sample lunch or a lunch page. You can create a dinner page. You can create a Sunday lunch page, whatever's relevant for your business. And that's how you can start to grow out content from there. And then you can see, once you've done that, you can optimize that to rank in Google. You've got a landing page to use for any social, landing page for any ads, for newsletters. And that's when we can start to see the traffic going up, the inquiries going up, and the bookings going up. And just on the second last slide, we've got here for the PPC setup. So for this, the hotel is located on Princess Street. It's near the Royal Mile, Waverley, city centre. So we can see all the location terms that we would start to bid on. That's based on keyword research. So we know that people are looking for them in Google every month. For the attractions, you've got Holyrood, you've got Edinburgh Castle, which is obviously massive. You've got hotel types, so a 3-star. It's a family hotel, it's got a family room. Can it have a family package? You go and promote that. And then you've got a lot of people looking for breaks in Edinburgh, so weekend breaks, short breaks, 2-night breaks, etc. So that's a way that you can start to build campaigns. And when the market opens back up, we can then start to sell rooms across the business by using Google non-brand campaigns. So that's really what you would see if you'd done that: increasing direct revenue, increasing your F&B bookings, increasing your room bookings. And the alternative to that is not to run them and then let booking.com and stuff have those bookings, or a competitor to have those bookings. So that's where the kind of key opportunity is there. So just to recap on everything we've said today, the 3 kind of key takeaways are: review your website content, go into your website and have a look through. Is there any more content you could add? Think about what people would search for your business, what services you have, how can you break things up? The restaurant's a good example. What do you offer for food? Is it Sunday lunch, afternoon tea? Do you have unique pages for them? So go and build that out and put a kind of map together. And then once you've done that, go and set up the ad campaigns. So you can set up ad campaigns to drive direct bookings in Google and Bing. And you can also set up the non-brand campaigns for the staycation business, because it is a UK market. We're seeing high levels of bookings, but you need to be in that arena to get the bookings. So go and set those campaigns up, and only use OTAs and third parties when you've exhausted all their channels. So that means getting your newsletter set up, looking at your social media, and then thinking about the content you're sharing with that audience, and making sure that you're sharing exclusive content, exclusive offers, make them feel special, and kind of harness that audience and get bookings through them before you go to any kind of OTA or a third party.
Yeah, I agree, Craig. I think, again, time and time again, you see just people putting their inventory and their rates out on OTAs. And I always say to hotels, OTAs are great, they are. They're selling your hotel 365 days a year, 24 hours a day in countries that you can never touch with, with marketing or whatever. So they are good to use, but you shouldn't use them for base business. Use them just to fill when you need them to, and exhaust all other channels first. And I think too, certainly out of, I've been doing this for 20 years. And I think we learn every single day as hoteliers. We can't know, understand, we're not supposed to know about all the PPC and all of that other stuff on meta and distribution, and to those little, the fine details that you guys know that specialize in something like this. But I think this presentation, we've had some lovely feedback there. Thank you very much. Oh yeah, sorry, somebody was just asking, it's the biggest month for country and coastal properties. How's it looking for city centre clients? And I think you and I had a conversation about this, and Craig, that lots of those coastal and resort type hotels are already full and are filling up. And actually the cities now, where we thought that it might be a really tough few months for the cities, we're seeing now that the city centres are starting to get business for people who just want that lovely hotel experience with a restaurant and a nice experience. And do you agree? Are you seeing that as well?
Yeah, no, definitely. I think for the cities, I think you need to have a think about the product and change your demographics change. It's a staycation market, but we're seeing a kind of pick up in Edinburgh, we're seeing a pick up in London, and I've spoken to a few people in the last couple of weeks who are booking London for the staycation. So they want to go down there, experience London, take the family maybe, and it's a different London. It's a different experience. So as you said, it's a lot of high quality hotels, high quality restaurants. That's what you're going to go for. So there's two different types of kind of staycations. One's the country, one's the city, and I think both are going to come back. And it's just, I think that the country was the obvious place to go first, but we're seeing the kind of the cities increase, and there may be I would say maybe about 40% of what we're seeing across the countries.
Yeah, I completely agree. And listen, at the end of the day, we're all in hospitality. We are all there to be hospitable, and people will come to us if we get that, that experience right. Craig, I just want to say a massive, massive thank you to those of you who join us regularly. You know that Craig does all of this for free, puts all of this hard work into the content. Craig and I have had several conversations over the past week, so it's a big time drain on Craig. So I just want to say a massive, massive thank you. We've had some amazing feedback, Craig. So thank you so much for your time. Thank you to Ricky and his team for allowing us to have a deep dive into the Edinburgh collection, and again into the wonderful Altaf. I know that we used your hotels in a couple of examples. But thank you so much, Craig. We will send this recording out. You will get the slides. You will get Craig's contact details as well. And I'm sure if any of you have anything that you want to understand a little bit further in your digital marketing strategy, Craig and the team at Big Flavour will be delighted to help. So thank you very much, Craig. Appreciate your time. Again, delighted to have you back twice. We've only got 2 more sessions, guys, on this. We've got a session next Tuesday from OK about cross-selling, and then we have the wonderful Sarah Dignan from STR finishing up our Revenue Ready campaigns on the 27th of April. So come and join us next week. But again, Craig, thank you so much for everything. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks, Adrian. Really enjoyed it.
All right, take care. Thank you. Bye.
Cheers then. Bye-bye.